Good morning. How are you? This is Samit from TalksOnGround. So once again, I'm coming to you with a very interesting geopolitical twist that has taken place in the last 1 month or so, and this is about India and China. Now, as I covered in my last video, India China had a bit of a breakthrough in the BRICS summit last year in 2024 December. But since then, lot has happened in the world. One of those things that happened was the ascension of Trump in the United States of America. Now that completely changed the equation between India and China and India and the rest of the world, uh, with US and the rest of the world. Why? Because Trump was the same person who had started this trade war with China. If you remember in 2017, the moment he came in, this was pretty much the first thing he did. So he is known as a China baiter, but in his second avatar, what he's doing and what he's saying and what he intends to do might be not the exact same things. But at the same time, it has affected how India is seeing China and how China is perceiving India, especially in terms of the moves they're making. Now, remember there was this Operation Sindoor, which happened just what should I say, about a month back. So there is a uh, there's a lot of nervousness in China because of this Operation Sindoor, because it didn't go as well for China as it would have hoped. And not only is it losing Pakistan as an ally, uh, who was a proxy really, who was going to trouble India, bleed India, and so on, and distract India, but it is also losing influence to the US in Pakistan. So Operation Sindoor has been a triple blow for China. So it is losing CPEC, which was a trade route it conceived of. It is losing Pakistan as a proxy, and its own defense equipment has come in for a lot of criticism. Even though early in the initial days of Operation Sindoor, it was seen as, Chinese weapons have done great. There are also reports that the President Xi Jinping is no longer in control, and that he has lost control of PLA at least, though he's in control of the party. So there is a lot of instability, political instability in China, and that is also contributing to this, what I will call a cold war between India and China, which is starting to develop, and it is starting to encompass a lot of areas of the Indian Indo-Chinese relationship. Now, before we move forward, I must draw out the whole picture as to what is happening. So, what is happening is that China is under pressure from the US. Russia seems to be moving away from China and more into leaning towards Trump, because Trump is promising the end of Ukraine war. Now, that has run into some rough weather, but a lot of observers think that China wants the Ukraine conflict to continue so that America is distracted away and not focusing on China. And the Russians are even willing to dump India as a partner, or at least the expanse of that relationship, if Trump can, get Ukraine war to kind of draw down. So, given this situation, initially, China made some overtures towards India following that December meeting I talked about. So there was this opening up of Kailash Mansarovar. There were some visits of dignitaries between the two parties. And then recently there was a SCO visit by India, where there was a defense ministers meeting going on. However, India put its foot down because China is not willing to let go of Pakistan. So Pakistan has become this piece that both China and US want to kind of control, and uh, using this piece, they are willing to dump the Indian relationship. Now that is causing a lot of problems for India, because the moment Trump made Pakistan a centerpiece of his regional policy in South Asia or the Middle East also, uh, suddenly India finds itself kind of sidelined. And Now, this is a new policy, and there are a lot of other issues that Indo-US relationship is going through. Now, for China, this is a good thing, but they're not willing to dump Pakistan to do business with India. So India has hit back, and India has hit back with two things, two very significant things, and the first one of them is the uh, is basically Taiwan. So the Indo-Taiwanese relationship is now looking up. Now that is a very interesting and important piece that India has played. And Taiwan brings to India a lot of good things in terms of technology and so on. So it has India has strong trade and investment ties, semiconductors, labor. There was a policy that Taiwan came out that we're going to allow Indian labor to come into Taiwan, but then there were some other cultural issues and so on. Then there is a track to diplomatic route where a lot of Indian politicians and think tankers have some connects in Taiwan. Now, all of this adds to Beijing's discomfiture, and they really don't want India to kind of have a deep relationship with Taiwan. It's one of their red lines. And for India has gone beyond this. They have even announced uh, an ambassador to North Korea, which in recent days has been moving more towards Russia than China, and that is adding to China's encirclement. So the thing that they were doing to others is happening to them as well. And the Russia China relationship fracture is a problem for China at many fronts. So is the Operation Sindoor, and so is the beating that Iran took recently from the American and Israeli forces. So for China, there is no good news, and therefore, with political instability, tariffs coming in, though there's a some sort of a trade deal where China has agreed to supply rare earths magnets, and the US will supply them semiconductors. So there is a thaw there, and one wonders whether India is the cost, the collateral cost or damage in this. There is one more thing. In October, November last year, a new office for Taiwan was opened up. So this is another thing that happened. Now, the second front that India opened, because it has to kind of recalibrate the way it is doing business uh, with China, is that it brought in the spiritual card, the Dalai Lama card. And the Dalai Lama, he had his birthday 2 days back, and it seems Narendra Modi wished him. And that has caused a lot of consternation within China, and they made some statements about it. Plus, India, or rather, Dalai Lama has also announced that the future Dalai Lama will be selected by a certain group within the Tibetan setup, which Dalai Lama is the head of, and therefore China will have no role. And China has been protesting that. So this is another card that India has brought out, which was supposed to be another red line for China. So from many fronts, the Indian relationship with China is shifting. Then there is this meeting between Modi and Dalai Lama, which we don't know if it happened, but if it has happened, then it's a very big deal, and therefore China is now feeling even more encircled because they're losing their proxy. Uh, their economic clout is reducing because of all these tariffs and trade wars. It has faced defeats in Middle East, and it has political instability within. So at this juncture, what India has done is India has put out its cards against China. Now remember, this is also a play of perception with the US when the Indo-US relationship is not good. And the Indo-Chinese relationship also goes bad. Now, typically, this has never happened. If the India relationship with US is good, then the China relationship suffers and vice versa. But simultaneously, for India to have stress in the Indo-Chinese relationship, stress in the Indo-US relationship, and stress in the Indo-Russian relationship is unprecedented. Maybe it's the way we are going through those kind of times, and therefore even Russia is having the same thing, stress in ties with China, stress in ties with India, and a bit of a warming up to the Americans, while the Americans are having stress and ties with Europeans and India and Japan and Korea, but is warming up to China and Russia. So it is a very strange kind of uh, thing which has been set out by Trump, and one wonders where it will settle. Just yesterday, he has announced tariffs on South Korea, on Japan, on Laos, on Malaysia, on Myanmar, and Bangladesh. I might have missed out a country or two, but if you notice, all of these are countries to the east of India and to the south of China. And these are powerhouse countries when it comes to manufacturing. But they're not China. With China, the Americans don't hold that many cards, and therefore they've kind of backtracked. But with these smaller countries, they have a lot of clout and they have pushed back. And when it comes to India, we'll see what happens. In my opinion, they will announce some major tariffs against India because India has gone around attending the BRICS summit as well. Remember, in the BRICS summit, neither Putin nor Xi Jinping attended, and China's Premier Li Qiang was there and sitting next to Narendra Modi. So, a lot of interesting things are happening, and one of the key relationships that will define how things move forward from here would be the India China relationship. Because if Trump gets on top of the geopolitical game with all his moves, then India and China would have no one left but to collaborate with each other. But the signs are that China is holding back a lot of economic supplies to India, including rare earth magnets, including some equipment for the bullet train and fertilizers. There could be other items we don't know. And India is hit back geopolitically by warming up to Taiwan and warming up to Dalai Lama. So these are the kind of very complicated moves, very fast moves, very unprecedented moves that everyone is making at one go. So it's very difficult to see what how this will settle down. But one can say that everyone's playing every card in their deck. No one's holding back, and it's a very pivotal time in geopolitics, and we'll see where this heads. But one thing is for sure, the India China relationship is one that you must have your eye stuck on, because this is a key relationship which can turn the table, so to say, both in Asia and globally. And with an unstable political environment in China, a stable political environment in India relatively, um, and economic growth being challenged by Trump from every angle, we'll have to see how it goes from here. These were my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and do support the channel. Every like you do on any video helps us. Uh, do subscribe if you like the video and the channel, and keep watching and keep sharing the videos with your friends and family. This was Summit from Talks on Ground, and goodbye.